What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bucco Territory, presented to you by the Foul Territory Network. I am your host, Noah Hiles, and joining me, as always, are my lovely co-hosts, Josh Harrison, a.k.a. Jay Hay, and Platinum Key, a.k.a. Mark. Fellas, the winter meetings have arrived. We're recording this on Monday evening at around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not a ton of action so far. By this time last year in the winter meetings, the most expensive deal in the history of sports was signed. So I think they're a little behind the eight ball. I don't see a Soto signing happening in the next couple of days. But so far, I would argue, guys, the biggest news from the winter meetings pertains to a contract offer made by none other than the Pittsburgh Pirates. Kevin Rosenthal reported, I believe that was Sunday night, or was it Monday morning? One of
Sunday
the
night,
two.
I want to say. Yeah,
Sunday
Sunday
night,
night.
that the Pirates offered Kyle Schwarber a 4-year deal that he expected to be at least $100 million. So that's a $25 million annual value. And we could start the show there. I'll ask you both your reaction to this news. Josh, we'll start with you.
Um, Christmas is around the corner. Um, Still got our fingers crossed. You never know what can happen, but at the same time, talk is cheap. We've had this
Mm-hmm.
conversation. So it's same thing with the Naylor that we talked about. I mean, granted, they said they didn't offer Naylor, but they just talked. Yes, you might have offered Schwarber, but what is it in comparison to what Schwarber's really being offered? So
Yeah.
is it another one of those things where they're just saying, "Oh, we offered them," or is it something that they're really trying, to say like, "No, we're going for them." That's my thoughts.
Mark?
Yeah, it feels like you're raising your paddle in like a bidding war and saying, "Yeah, we'll bid, we're totally in on it," and that's well and good, but it's all about the quality of the offer, not just the intent behind it. I mean, if it's a 4-year deal, you're going to have to pay probably more in AAV for Kyle Schwarber, so you're looking probably around at least like 120 million for 4 years for like a 30 AAV. And even then, I don't know if that's going to really move the needle for him. I think if he's going to sign with a team like the Pirates that aren't exactly competing necessarily quite yet, then it's going to take more. It's going to take more for the Pirates to sign pretty much anyone, I think. And so you got to bump up the AAV, you got to bump up the years if you really, really want to land a guy like Schwarber. And if you don't, this is a great way of saying, hey, we tried. We gave him a 4-year, $100 million deal. Look, we're trying. We just can't force people to sign, but you can. You can make a compelling enough offer. And it doesn't sound like that's what the Pirates have offered Schwarber as of yet.
But not to cut you off, Mark. But if they really have offered this, that means they're willing to come out of pocket
It's something.
that
It's more
much.
concrete.
So
Yeah.
so if they have, if you don't land a Schwarber, which we've already had this discussion. He'd be a great fit for, not only Pirates, a lot of teams. But
Oh, yeah.
if you want to go for him, go for him. But if you do miss out on it, there could be a way to say, well, we missed out on him, but that same money that you were willing to commit to him,
Mm-hmm.
commit other places that you can. Oh, just because we missed out on Schwarber, all right, well, we're gonna take the 100 down. Now we're gonna spend 60. Like, no, you had a plan to spend 100
Right.
million on one guy. If it falls through and you don't get him, I'm saying you still have. You're showing the potential to say, okay, we're willing to spend this money because this money was on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, I'm so glad you pointed that out because the journalist in me always asks the question, who cares about the offer? And now, I'm not sitting here coming after the credibility of Ken Rosenthal. He is one of the best to have ever done it. And if I got that scoop, I would have led my notebook with it as well. But at the end of the day, when we're getting down to brass tacks, he even said it. Mark, on your Twitter, you posted the good part and then scribbled out the following graph where he said he doesn't expect Schwarber to sign with the Pirates. That's fake news media at its finest, right there from you, Platinum Key.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, I try.
and in all seriousness, who cares about an offer? It's not a contest to see who can make an offer. It's a contest to see who can make the best offer. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this offer was quickly made public, right? That this was
Mm-hmm.
known, and either on Schwarber's side or the Pirates side. if you're Schwarber and this is the first offer you get, you say, all right, well, here's what the Pirates are willing to pay me.
Right.
So Mets, Phillies, anyone else? Can you do better than 4 years, 100-something million?
Cincinnati
I'm
Reds.
sure you can.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Reds. Like, here's what else. And then on the Pirates side, like what Josh kind of pointed out, you could say, look, we're willing to spend $100 million on a very good baseball player. The player that they end up getting or have the best chance to get is probably not going to be as valuable as Kyle Schwarber, but that doesn't mean it can't be a $100 million deal. It could be 6 years for $100 million rather than 4. Right. It could be something maybe even a little longer, or you could go shorter with the same AAV. If you want to get someone for like 2 years, $50 million, whatever deal works out. And I think that's kind of what the Pirates are hoping to gain from this, is by basically just saying, like, we're not just offering 1 year, $5 million deals this offseason. We're willing to pay legitimate money. And while, we're not going to be able to outspend the Mets or the Phillies, guess what? Look around the league. Only a couple teams are. Actually, really only one team is able to outspend both of those. And they just so happen to have the only DH in baseball who's better than Kyle Schwarber. So they don't need one. Although it would be very on brand for them to just like sign.
Hey, they might trade for Scooble. Look out.
Yeah, right? Like, it was just like, you know what? We'll teach Shohei third or something like that, you know? But that's my take on this. Is I think both sides have a lot to gain here by this information being publicized. And I don't think it's like a cheap ploy on the Pirates end here. I think this is more of a business savvy type of thing. And the same thing goes for, again, Schwarber's camp. They're trying to set the market. And the fact that the Pirates are involved in the market setting price for the best free agent on the market is noteworthy. Is it worth getting excited for? No. Because, again, it's like at an auction, just because you raise your arm a whole bunch of times does not mean you're leaving with anything. It just means, your arm might be sore when you get in the car and drive home. So they need to make a deal that everyone else will just say, okay, well, they did that. All right, fine, cool. And like Mark said, it's going to take a little bit of an overpay to get there. So.
No, I'll ask you one kind of question on the Schwarber front here. Do you think the Pirates' focus on Schwarber would distract them from anything? Are they missing out on other opportunities? Or?
No, because the way this works at winter meetings, I mean, it's like around the clock. Like they've probably put just as much attention, if not more attention, toward Polanco, O'Hearn, and that's not something I'm hearing personally.
You just know how winter meetings are. There's no.
I just know, from my experience, I spent 3 days learning about how they were shopping Jared Jones and Mitch Keller, and then in the middle of that process, they traded Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
So that tells me that they're talking with a whole bunch of teams about a whole bunch of players, and the reason you monitor all of that all at once to give like a peel back the curtain look at like how you cover this stuff is you're looking for trends. Like that year's trend was obvious. They were looking to move a starting pitcher for a controllable bat. Here, it looks like they're trying to put themselves in position to make the biggest free agent signing in franchise history. Now, will it happen? I don't know. But it seems like that is their motive at the very least right now. Another big move they can make doesn't involve free agency, but rather trade. Ketel Marte, probably the best position player available on the trade block this offseason. I wouldn't say he's the best player because I think Tarek Skubal is involved in the trade market, and he's probably a better overall player than Ketel Marte. But as far as position players are concerned, I think it's safe to say this is the best second baseman in baseball. He's probably had that title for a couple of years now. Someone that I think a lot of teams would like to have for a lot of reasons. Just to break it down real quick, he has 5 more years of club control after this one. There's, I believe, a player option year in 2031, and then he can become an unrestricted free agent in 2032, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, my boy Ethan will shoot me a text about it tomorrow morning. The AAV of his current deal is $19.4 million. which is pretty affordable for a player of his caliber. He's slated to make 16 million this upcoming season, which is half a million less than Mitch Keller, if you're keeping track at home. And I don't believe that deal goes up to higher than like 22 million at its peak. So pretty affordable deal, but the big caveat, in addition to coming up with a trade package to get him to Pittsburgh, is that he has a no trade clause, which is where Mr. Harrison comes into this conversation. Josh, you never had any no trade clauses on your contracts, but you have played with plenty of people that have, I'm sure. It's not as simple as, oh, this team's on my list. They're never going to trade me there. Give us a peek at the process of how a team on a no trade clause can get a player to waive that.
Well, typically a no trade clause, guys that don't have full trade no trade clauses may have a 10-team no trade clause where, there's gonna be 10 teams that you pretty much say, I don't care if y'all agree to a trade. The answer is no unless it's okay by the player. And players may have a no trade clause for whatever the reason may be. It could be, oh, it's far away from home, taxes, or oh, I don't like this division, I don't like the stadium. All guys have different reasons for why they, put no trade clauses on certain teams or certain cities, whatever the case may be. But it's not uncommon for guys to, waive a no trade clause for, the right situation or the right fit. And sometimes, you might be like, oh man, he's got a no trade clause to the Pirates, but you know, Pirates sign Schwarber or, make a splash signing and, suddenly somebody that has a no trade clause to Pittsburgh, hey, Pittsburgh might be okay. If guys are seeing that teams are, looking, to try to win or do something otherwise than what they thought as to why they put them on a no trade clause, you could possibly see guys, eventually end up waiving a no trade clause. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure before Nolan Arenado got traded to the Cardinals, I think he had a full like no trade clause and
Mm-hmm.
was able to waive it, to say, okay, St. Louis, it seems like a play, he probably made decisions say, okay, I don't mind going to St. Louis, even though they were on the no trade list. Whatever the case may be, there's some things that might entice people to, waive that no trade clause. And I'm sure playing with the best pitcher in the league might entice them, especially if they were to make some, some moves if it was to come to fruition.
And I'm not saying they pull full Kawhi Leonard here and just find illegal money to give him, but you can sweeten the
Plant some
pot
trees.
through. Right, but you can sweeten the pot through like different incentives or perks too, right? Like it could be something like a home suite at every game for his family. Like those things are within
Oh,
legality, right?
it can get. I mean, Mark might know a little bit more about legality stuff than me,
Yeah.
but I think it can get pretty much down to, oh man, teams trading based off of, oh, they're gonna take on a salary this or that. Well, if they want me to waive the no trade clause, like you said, I want a suite at home, or if they
I want
want
a new
me to
car.
waive this, if they want
Yeah.
me to waive this, that team option needs to become a player option, or it needs to be a guarantee. Like those are things where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, how bad do you really want this player? Where a team may say, okay, we're willing to give him that extra year, for our team, or some teams may be like, you know what, you guys can try to find another suitor. So there are cases that some guys will, and it could very well be enticing for certain guys to say, I never thought I would play in this place, but they came with a package that I pretty much couldn't deny. And sometimes you'll see some guys waive no trade clauses based off of teams willing to meet, I don't want to say the demands of a player, but at the same time, when you
Yeah.
have a no trade
Demands.
clause, I mean, that's the demands of the player. He has the ball in his court, and everything can look good, but at the end of the day, if he says no, nothing's gonna happen.
All right, Mark. Let's say in this hypothetical world, Ketel Marte is willing to waive his no trade clause. Your general manager, Platinum Key. What is the most enticing package you can offer to the Arizona Diamondbacks to get the best second baseman in baseball?
Yeah, I mean the Diamondbacks they're looking for starting pitching, and the Pirates have a, a lot of depth at starting pitching. Mitch Keller has to be the focal point of the Ketel Marte trade. It makes a ton of financial sense for the Pirates, where you're basically washing out Mitch Keller's contract and replacing it with a contract for Ketel Marte. To convince the Diamondbacks to give up a 15 F WAR player over the last 3 years for Mitch Keller, you're going to have to give way more than just Mitch Keller. And they're looking for MLB ready starting pitching. So, maybe a Braxton Ashcraft as well. And then you're probably looking at pairing prospects as well. It would have to be a really massive deal. This guy is not just the best second baseman in the league, but he's one of the best position players in the league. If you look at the available free agents right now, in the last 3 years, he has 15.3 F4. Kyle Tucker, 13.6. Alex Bregman, 12.1 F4. He has more F4 than Kyle Schwarber, Bo Bichette, Cody Bellinger, Pete Alonso. All these guys, he's performed better than in the last 3 years. So it's going to take way more than just Mitch Keller. You might even have to see like a Bubba Chandler to move the needle. And I don't know if I'd be willing to do that.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I would be very, very, very hesitant to do that. But that's probably going to be what the asking price is like for one of the best position players in the league. So it would really hurt whatever the asking price is, but it would make this team so much better.
The reason you can't give up Chandler and Keller is because you need a number two in your rotation, and one of those guys is going to have to be it. And I would think that you would want to keep Chandler because he's cheaper, younger, has a higher ceiling of potential, and still hasn't played out his full rookie year. Mm-hmm. To me, when I look at it, I mean, yes, Keller is obviously the starting point. I'd throw in Nick Gonzalez if they wanted him, although I think they're just going to put Lawler at second. They have Perdomo at short, and I mean, I guess they could move Lawler to third and have Nick at second.
They have infield options,
Yeah, they have options there. But yeah, it would be Keller, and then you're sweetening the pot with prospects. There are two prospects that I wouldn't trade. It'd be Bubba Chandler and it'd be Connor Griffin. Everyone else is I'm willing to listen. Now, I'm not gonna when you look at their list, I'm not trading Garcia because they just got him last.
Just got him.
Yeah.
That would be kind of dumb, but. I mean, in theory, I guess not, because it just becomes like a three-way trade.
Well, I was about to say sometimes teams will take that chip to use it to spin it another way.
I mean, not
saying that the Pirates are doing that, but it's a move that's been seen before.
Right? Yeah, that's been done. Now, I don't think that would be smart for the Pirates because the prospects that I would be willing to give up with if I'm Pittsburgh would be guys who are not big league ready. I'm looking at Edward Florentino. I'm looking at Seth Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
I think pairing one of those two guys, I think they're both 19 years old.
Yeah.
And they're both already top 100 prospects. I mean, Seth Hernandez, by the end of this year, by the time, we're in December of 2026, could easily be a top 20 prospect in baseball. I mean, he has insanely high upside.
Yeah, in the Dominican this summer. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 19 years old. And they don't need pitching right now. And while it might be something where you look back on it 3 years from now, and you're like, man, really wish the Pirates had that guy. Ketel Marte does not look like a gallon of milk that's going to be expired anytime soon. Even if the glove goes away, he's your DH then, or you can move him to first base. He has been one of the most established baseball players in the world for the last half decade.
Mm-hmm.
Switch hits, he's just so valuable. He's played in a World Series, every All-Stars, silver, everything that you could want and more is what this guy provides. And if it means you have to give up your number 6 overall pick last year, if before they made that pick, if I could have told the Pirates, Mitch Keller and this pick for Ketel Marte, before you fall in love with whoever you select, that's a no-brainer. That is a no-brainer. And so that's where I would rather trade Florentino probably just because I don't even think he's played. I mean, I guess neither of them have really played even in high A yet. But I would pair one of those two with Keller, both top 100 guys, both only 19 years old, and then see what else you need to throw in. If it's another Nick Gonzalez, if it's a Carmen Mlodzinski, someone who adds a little bit to their major league roster, if they want another prospect, maybe I would go to the next tier. If they want a bench player or a bullpen arm to go along with it, a Kyle Nicholas, sure, I would do that. But I'm not giving up 2 elite prospects. I'm not giving up 2 members of my starting rotation. That's probably where I would go. I would give up one elite prospect, Mitch Keller, and then either a bench guy or someone in the, I would say, 9 to 15 prospect range. And I don't know if that'd be enough. I mean, it seems like it would be because they want to get rid of this guy. There's no reason
They say
why
they do
should
and they
want
don't.
to trade him.
Yeah,
Right.
they're it's all the front office speak, like, oh, I don't know how this trade rumor got out there again. I haven't even talked to Ketel about it because I don't want it's nothing, like, you know. I think that was all just from today at the winter meetings. The Diamondbacks GM, and so it's like,
well, they got to play the game. They can't tell
it makes so
everything
much
that's been
sense.
said. Right.
Like you made the sandwich, brother. Like you guys were clearly the ones who leaked it. Like other teams don't just find out. Like this news surfaced before the World Series even ended.
Yeah.
So clearly the Diamondbacks talked to other teams about their
what
and
they
other
plan to do.
Considering all the
either
options.
either they leaked it, that they're talking to other teams about the idea of trading him, or other teams are like, you will never believe who Diamondbacks.
Right. They putting the pressure on them. Saying, put your money where your mouth is. If you really were talking that, we're gonna leak it to see if they. Because to go to your, sorry to cut you off, but to go to your point, when you said not want to give up too high of a prospect, but still make it enticing. Because I mean, the argument for Pirates fans is, I mean, granted, no Connor Griffin, as you said, no Chandler, but as you said, a draft pick from last year can be enticing because, yes, he might be some years removed from possibly making his debut, but the objective right now is to try to win and make your team better. And those two guys you mentioned before, Connor Griffin, Chandler, they are in the plans to help this team. So I agree with you on that. But and that's why I said I agree with you, because I don't want them to get so caught up in holding on to prospects, where you said if you would have told them last year, Mitch Keller and your first round draft pick, that's something that you would really want to weigh if that's something that the Diamondbacks would be willing to pull. So I was agreeing with you saying that, don't fall in love with these young prospects if you want to make your team better now.
The whole thought process should be winning with Paul Skeens. And when you look at Seth Hernandez, in my opinion, is the Paul Skeens replacement. Like whenever Paul inevitably leaves, he should be major league ready, and he has the ceiling. I don't know if he has Paul Skeens' ceiling. I don't know if any pitcher we'll see for the rest of my life will have that ceiling. But I think he has a ceiling similar to Bubba Chandler, if not higher. And so that's your Paul Skeens. It's like, okay, we're losing an ace, but we have another ace ready to go. There's that thought. But if your goal is to win with Paul Skeens, then any asset that you have that will not be here throughout Paul Skeens' time should be viewed as expendable.
Yes.
And so that's how you have to view it. To wrap up the Marte stuff real quick, Mark and I were talking before the show started. When you debate Schwarber or Marte, who would you like more? I don't think it's really even that tough of a question. When you look at Kyle Schwarber, you're paying a guy who, granted, is the second best player at his position, who does the primary thing that you need this team to acquire, put balls in the seats. His game will absolutely translate to PNC Park with that short porch and right. They've been looking for that type of hitter forever since the thing's been built. But at the end of the day, you're getting the best second baseman in baseball for more years of control at a far lower price. I think it's a no-brainer that Ketel Marte is the right guy to go, because you can get, if you acquire Ketel Marte, you still haven't added any money to your payroll.
All the money's still there.
That's what I was about to say. That the money that you were gonna offer Schwarber, if you acquire Marte, you still have, basically saying that Keller, that might offset. Yeah. You still have the plans to be able to add. And as you said, Marte can offer a little bit more flexibility because obviously he can play second base, might be able to bounce around. He hits from both sides. But as you said, you can't miss with Schwarber's bat. He's going to be an upgrade for whatever lineup, because any ballpark he'll be able to make small. But I agree with you. Marte does make more sense, especially knowing that if you acquire Marte, you have a lot more flexibility to still be able to spend. You don't have to get as creative with trying to make scenarios to trade or this or that. Not that you wouldn't, but.
And that's the reality of their situation. They're not a Kyle Schwarber away. They're a Kyle Schwarber away from being maybe a 500 team, if some things work out. But if you trade Kyle Schwarber, then, I mean, theoretically, yeah, you can clear up more money if you trade Mitch for someone pre-arb, but I don't think you're getting a pre-arb player who's better than Ketel Marte.
No.
And if you're able to get Ketel Marte and then sign Ryan O'Hearn to be your DH, I think that's a better alternative than Kyle Schwarber and a pre-arb third baseman or something like that. I think your team is better off. Mark, hit that subscribe button. Tell everyone to do it. Show us the graphic. We got to remind everyone. Subscribe. We're on a mission of 1,000. I think we just eclipsed 600 already. We were bragging about 500 last week on
last week, right?
So hopefully, yeah, like we're moving up pretty quick. We appreciate everyone subscribing and following along, and we know you're only doing it for the prize.
Yeah.
Which is why you're all sitting here waiting for it. All right, so this week's prize is a Paul Skeens card. Mark, do you have it with you?
I got it right here.
Oh, it's shiny.
There we go. Shiny,
look at him.
everything.
He's throwing his splinker. He's going to throw it fast.
Splinker.
Mark, who's the winner this week?
Josh, give me a number 1 through 15.
Of course, it's 5.
5? All right. Congrats to Amanda Burns.
Let's go, Amanda. Congrats. Yeah. Lucky number 5.
Look out for your mailbox. I'll get this shipped out, Amanda. I'll be check your DMs. I'll reach out for some contact info and continue to hit that subscribe button, guys, because this is not the best prize coming. We're doing another giveaway next week and then the week following that. So 2 more chances for everyone. Some pretty cool stuff coming up.
Yes, and we will reveal this week's prize, which is going to be another card. So if you're a card collector and you missed out on a Paul Skeens card, have no fear, because a signed Josh Harrison card is the next prize for this week. So thank goodness we have access to him. That makes it a little easier to find a prize.
I kind of want to know a Hiles signed card. I don't know.
I've got it. I can get that too.
You got the high school one?
I do. I'll tell you a quick story. I had an aunt who used to go to the same gym as Chiefs running back Larry Johnson. I asked her to see if he could get me a signed card, and he said he would only do it if we would trade. So I signed a whole bunch of my Little League football cards, and I got like 4 All-Pro cards from him.
That's dope.
That's
dope.
Yeah, that was cool.
I love that.
But I can hook Josh if you want to do a trade. We could do a jersey swap if you want.
Yeah,
let's do it.
The jersey swap would be amazing.
We got to show it like this.
Yeah.
Yes, we could do that. All right. So if you want to win an autographed Jay Hay card, all you have to do is be subscribed to this podcast, show us a screenshot on social media, on Twitter. You can also email it to us. Just email it to me. My email is in my bio on Twitter, and it's also, if you just go on the Post Gazette, it's at the bottom of all of my articles. So you can email me a screenshot that you're subscribed if you're not on Twitter, or just comment a screenshot of it on Bucco Territory, and you can be entered to win. And if you didn't win, and if you've already been entered, you're still eligible to win all of these prizes leading up. So big thanks to everyone who has subscribed. It's really cool to see this show's following growing. And fellas, it's going to be real fun to see what happens over these next couple of days here at the winter meetings. Any final thoughts before we wrap up another episode?
That's on spot. But I mean, with the winter meeting starting up, I see the Pirates making some sort of a move here over the next 2 days. I just feel it. Trying to speak it into existence too. And for as much as their name has been in the media about, oh, we're talking to this guy, we want to offer this guy. I think the time might be now to go ahead and make that move to say, okay, we showed y'all.
Let's do it.
So I think something can happen here. I know they made the trade last week, but that might just be a little precursor to what they're looking to, some face-to-face meetings sometimes. Yeah, face-to-face meetings sometimes get things going. And I'm thinking something's going to happen here soon.
Mark, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just Ben, we need to do something here. So let's get going. I'm excited. It's very encouraging seeing that the Pirates are one of the biggest, movers at the deadline or at the winter meetings right now. The people that are talking the most to other teams. So something's got to happen to it or come to happen from it. So here we go.
Tuesday evening was when the Horowitz trade went down. I remember we were eating dinner. We just sat down for dinner, and I just got a text from a source about another player potentially being traded, and I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to have the big scoop. And then literally 30 seconds after that, they made the trade.
Didn't even get to enjoy your dinner.
No, not at all. You never do. But, okay, so we'll see. We'll keep tuning in and keep following back. We'll have another episode here covering the end of winter meetings on Bucco Territory, presented by the Foul Territory Network.